This is a tutorial on the ZwoBot Scan device. ZwoBot is a suite of Max for Live devices which allow you to create visuals inside Ableton. And if you're new to ZwoBot, I'd recommend you go back and watch my earlier tutorials. I'll put a link to those in the top right corner of the screen now. And if you would like to buy ZwoBot, there's a link in the description. So the scan device creates some scanlines across your visual. So I've got this image that I've loaded up into my video deck, and I've already connected the scan device to my player. We're not seeing anything at the moment though, because this scanline style is turned down to 0. But once we start to turn that up, you can see these lines start appearing, and the higher up it is, the more lines they're going to be, and the smaller they are, the lower down it is, the bigger the lines are going to be, and the less amount there's going to be. Here we've got this direction button, which will switch between X and Y, which is referring to the X axis or the Y axis, and that is going to control whether the lines are horizontal or vertical. Here we've got a softness control, so that controls the softness of the lines. So when it's turned right up, you can see the edges are more blurred, whereas when you bring it down, they are hard edges. And then up here we've got a brightness control. So this controls the brightness and also the transparency. So when it's turned right up, the lines are solid and you have these brighter areas in between the lines. But when it's turned right down, the lines are a bit transparent and the underlying image is its original color and brightness. Under here we've got color, which will change the color of the scan lines. And in the bottom left hand corner, as with most of our ZwoBot devices, we have transparency and blend mode controls. This controls the overall transparency of the effect. And then here we have a selection of blend modes, which will blend the effect with the underlying visual. We also have some audio responsive controls here, so I can set Scanlines dial to respond to the lower frequencies like this, which means the scan lines are going to get more as lower frequencies are coming through. I can have the brightness respond to the higher frequencies, and I can have the color change to the lower frequencies. But we also have beat controls here, so I'm going to do that with the color. Instead of having it respond to the audio, I'm going to hit this button to have it change in accordance with our BPM, and that is going to be set to whatever your master beat control on your player is. And we can make that faster by changing our master beat control over here, or slower by dragging it to the left. And these other dials also have beat controls, so I'll turn the audio responsiveness on that and change it to a beat control instead. So now the scan lines setting is changing in accordance with the BPM instead of in response to the incoming audio. This direction control doesn't have a beat control or audio responsive controls on it, so if you wanted that to change automatically, you could assign an LFO to it. I can bring an LFO in here and I can map it to this, and then I can control how fast it changes using the rate here